Let's talk first on the line to Jonathan Davis, who's an economist and wealth manager. Good evening, Jonathan.
Hello, Clive.
Hi, thanks for joining us. So with your economist hat on then, were you impressed with the other world on offer today?
Well, when I heard the phrase "the other world" and I'd seen over the weekend that NASA were making a big announcement about Mars, I rather hoped that John McDonnell was going to be living on Mars, but unfortunately that's not turning out to be the case. This will be popular. I would suggest to you this will be popular. The main reason is because the incredible inequality of distribution of wealth over the last, not 5 years of a Tory-led government, but the last 20 years of New Labour and the Tory-led government, and of course Tory now, where the middle class has got poorer, the poor are still poor, and the super rich have become ultra rich. So this is why I would suggest to you this will be popular to the masses. The problem is that it's leading us towards a godforsaken place called Venezuela, where if they get in and they institute many of these policies, which I'm quite sure that they will, Venezuela, after a very short period of these socialist policies, they now have officially 100% annual inflation, a doubling in the price of cost of goods and services annually. That's the official rate of inflation. Unofficially, it's 600%. And to give you an example of what superinflation does to you, you can hardly buy a toilet roll in Venezuela because the logistics and there's no money in toilet rolls, so no one makes or imports toilet rolls anymore. Now that, of course, is a very small aspect, but I'm telling you that's where this is heading to. Now, I'm not saying I disliked everything. There was a couple of things which actually, strange as it may seem, I rather admire.
Go on.
I think it's ridiculous that international companies for decades have made profits in this country and not paid corporation tax. That's ridiculous. And it's not because of the Tories or New Labour. It's because governments generally don't do anything about it. Well, let's see if they can do something about it. And then they talk about the financial transactions tax, where when the city do a trade, then they'll pay a little bit of tax.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about this. A lot of people seem to like this idea. Has it got legs?
It has got legs, and it won't actually affect the city as much as the city would have you believe it will affect them. What it will affect is a very small part of city, which is called the high-frequency traders. These guys are running computers, supercomputers. They put on literally 100 trades a second, and they game the system. So they'll have to stop doing that. So, yes, that's not a bad thing. But I'm not going to say that these guys' policies are worth the paper they're written on, because they're not.
Well, what about the deficit and austerity? He's saying that he's not a deficit denier, that they will balance the books. They want to even end up with a surplus, and it can be done in a different way.
In the short term, I'm sure they could turn some wheels and pull some cog levers, and indeed they could get a financial surplus on an annual or a couple of years basis. But no, the taxation and the extra strength of trade unions, putting trade unions on company boards, the renationalizations, the uncapping of benefits. Do you remember the days when people on welfare were living in £10 million homes in central London, costing the state £100,000 a year, and we were paying for that? All of these policies, when you put it all together, this is not a recipe for economic success. First step, is we go back to the 1970s, and anyone who lived through the 1970s as an adult knows that that was not a good place to be. We were the weak man, the failure of Europe, until a certain Margaret Thatcher came in, and we went head and shoulders in the world because she sorted a lot of the problems out. Second step, if that were to continue over 5 or 10 years, we'd go down the route of Venezuela. No, this is not good news. But incidentally, just because I'm criticising these guys doesn't mean that I'm particularly happy with the other guys. But
oh, right.
Staying with where you are.
From an economic point of view, is it totally Mickey Mouse in your opinion, or is this a genuine, worked out alternative economic view?
It's absolutely a genuine alternative economic view. These guys are not incompetents. They're very intelligent, and they are bringing about socialism, communism, Marxism, whateverism you want to call it, which basically is a planned economy. They will tell us what we have to do, what we can do. They will invest in their pet projects. And they will buy votes. That's what politicians do. But, Clive, can any of your listeners text you or email you or phone you and remind us where any time in the world socialism has, worked?
Well, is it actually socialism, though? Is it really, or is it more of a mixed economy? He doesn't seem to be saying it's out-and-out socialism, just that you work with the markets rather than be at the mercy of them.
Well, just because he's got a nice haircut, wearing a nice suit and tie, and he doesn't look like some Trotskyite from Liverpool in the 1980s, doesn't mean that they are not Marxists, communists, whatever-ists. And whatever words they're using, they're talking about a planned economy. That's the simple reality. I'm not suggesting that we don't have inequalities right now. Of course, we have vast inequalities. I said that right at the outset. And there are many things happening right now I'm not comfortable with. But I'm telling you, I'm even less comfortable with moving to Marxism, the 1970s, and then Venezuela. And I cannot emphasize those points enough.
OK, well, we've definitely got your point, Jonathan. Thank you very much for that. Jonathan Davis, economist and wealth manager, very clearly unimpressed. He says it is a sound economic plan, but it will take us the way of Venezuela. Now,